In Charles Dickens's industrial wasteland of Coketown, what you see and what's real are often two totally different things. Today, we're going to dive into a single chapter from his novel Hard Times, and we're going to see how one brief, very strange encounter can show us the massive, massive gap between how an outsider sees things and what a worker's life is actually like. So we're dropped right into the middle of it with our main guy, Stephen Blackpool. He's just left a pretty tough meeting with his boss, and Dickens tells us he's walking sorrowfully away. You can just picture it, right? His eyes are on the ground. The guy is clearly weighed down by some serious trouble. But then, an unexpected touch on his arm is about to change his entire afternoon. So, first things first, let's get to know Stephen and the world he's stuck in. He's not just some character on a page. He's really the human face of Coketown. He is the working class of this grim industrial city, all rolled into one person. And this is where Dickens is just brilliant. He connects Stephen's physical appearance directly to his environment. His face has this concentrated look, right? But it's not because he's actually hard of hearing. It's because he spent his entire life trying to focus and just exist over the prodigious noise of the factory. The very machinery he works for has physically shaped the man he's become. So it's at this absolute low point that Stephen has an encounter that feels like it's from another planet. He meets this mysterious old woman who is a complete and total stranger to this world of smoke and iron. Dickens gives us this fantastic little checklist of clues. I mean, look at this. There's country mud on her shoes. She's clearly uncomfortable with the noise of the street, the way she's carrying her things. Every single detail here just screams that she is an outsider. She's practically a tourist in this harsh industrial landscape on a rare trip from the quiet of the countryside. So she stops Stephen to ask about the man he just saw, his boss, Mr. Bounderby. But listen to the words she uses: portly, bold, outspoken, and hearty. It paints this incredibly idealized, almost heroic picture of the factory owner. And let me tell you, it's a perception that could not be further from Stephen's own experience. And right here, this is the heart of it. This is where we see these two worlds just smash into each other. The old woman's naive, almost childish admiration, and Stephen's harsh, lived reality. And you've got to understand, her admiration isn't just some passing thought. It's a whole ordeal. This timeline shows you the incredible scale of her journey. She walks 18 miles and travels another 80 by train, all in a single day, just once a year. It's a massive pilgrimage. But the reason she does it, that's what's truly mind-boggling. So why? Why go through all that trouble? Is she visiting family? Taking care of business? Nope. The real answer is so much stranger, and it reveals everything about her worldview. That's it. That's her whole motivation, just to see the gentlemen of the city. For her, just the sight of these powerful men is enough to bring her total contentment. It's an idea so completely foreign to Stephen, whose life is directly controlled and usually crushed by these very same men, that he's just left completely speechless. I mean, their two realities could not be more different. It's like they're living in two separate dimensions, but in the exact same city. For her, Coketown is a place of wonder, full of admirable men and beautiful sounds. For Stephen, it's a world of trouble, of harsh work, and a noise so loud it's literally shaped his face. But here's the crazy part. Even with this massive gap between their perspectives, for a brief moment, these two very different characters actually connect in a very, very strange way. The factory bell starts to ring, calling all the workers back to their shift. Now, for Stephen, this is the sound of the daily grind, right? It's a sound of his life just ticking away. But for the old woman, it's music. She thinks it's the beautifulest bell she had ever heard. The irony there is just, wow, it's staggering. She asks him how long he's worked at the factory that makes such a grand sound. And his answer, it's so simple and it just hits you. 12 years. A dozen years of his life spent inside that prodigious noise. And her reaction to this is just wild. She insists on kissing his work-worn hand. Dickens calls it a fantastic action, but he also says it had a natural and touching air about it. In her completely innocent admiration, she's honoring the very labor that is slowly grinding Stephen into dust.
It's this incredible gesture of respect from a world that has no idea what his is actually like.
But just like that, it's over. The weird, kind of beautiful moment just vanishes. The encounter ends, and we are yanked sharply back into the grim reality of Stephen's life. As soon as she leaves, poof, the spell is broken. The noise of the factory, which for a second had been transformed into this grand music, is right back to being a crash and rattle. The harsh, mechanical world takes over again, and Stephen is left alone with his thoughts. So where does his mind snap back to? Not to that strange old woman. Nope. It goes straight back to the source of all his sorrow. This shameful figure is his estranged, alcoholic wife, and her presence in his home is a constant weight, a constant source of misery and shame for him. And this is where we see just how deep his pain goes. It's not just one thing. He feels like his life has been a waste, that his own character has been corrupted, and that he's completely trapped, bound hand and foot to a situation he can never escape. It's just a heartbreaking contrast to that old woman's simple, easy contentment. And you know what makes it all even more tragic? There's someone else, a good woman in his life, named Rachel. He's constantly thinking about the life he could have had with her, a life of peace and honor and self-respect, but it's a dream that's been torn to pieces by his marriage, which he can't get out of. And you can feel his pain here. It's not even just for himself. He's crushed for Rachel. He sees her quiet, lonely life as a sacrifice that's being made because of him, and he just can't understand the fairness of a world where someone so good could have her happiness completely tied to his own miserable situation. So all of this brings us to one final big question. That old woman's journey was fueled by a pure, innocent admiration for Coketown. But that very same innocence is what stops her from seeing the suffering of people like Stephen, the ones who actually make the city run. So it really leaves you wondering, in a world this hard, is that kind of innocence a blessing, or is it really just another form of blindness?